Hello, Regina. Good evening.
Teacher, how are you?
I'm very good, and you?
Good as well.
Okay, good. Ready for the presentation today?
Yes.
Okay. Remember that in this session, you will be explaining what you understood about the key concepts that you found on the documents and the videos as well. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get started.
Okay, let me try to find the things that I prepared for this presentation. Just a
Okay.
second.
Can you see the screen? I'm
Yes.
projecting the same PowerPoint presentation you sent to.
Okay.
Okay. Just let
Okay.
me know that when you needed me to change the slide, just let me know it, okay?
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so good evening. Today I'm going to be talking about educational assessment uh, directly in test.
Mhm.
Um, well, in this presentation, we will see different type of educational assessment and also the different tests that we can implement during the teaching process. And also we will check the purposes, characteristic, and how we can apply these different type of tests or assessment during the learning process.
Okay,
So you
very
can
good.
check.
Okay.
Okay, so the first test that we have is the formal and the informal test. So we can use formal tests for measuring student knowledge, skills in a structured way. We can use them or we can apply these formal tests with final exams, uh, and also, we have follow a specific guidelines to follow in order to have a clear criteria and scoring as well. So this is the formal test. And also we have the informal test. So the purpose of informal test is assess learning process in a flexible and
Mhm.
less structured way to provide feedback, guide instruction. So it's mean that we can have like quizzes or a small discussion during class just to make sure if the message of the class uh, they receive the right message to the class. Um, so it's the informal tests. We can use them just to make sure if the students are clear with the topics. So that's the way that we can apply the formal tests and the informal tests. You can slide the next one, the next one.
Yes, of course.
Then we have the test that is formative and summative. So for the formative assessment or test, the purpose is monitor student learning during the learning process to provide feedback and improve understanding characteristic. So the characteristic for formative assessment is ongoing, help identify a strain and areas for improvement, and we can the examples that I have for formative assessment are similars like quizzes, class discussion, draft, teacher feedback. So I think that teacher feedback is very important in this formative
Yes.
assessment because you will let them know what are the things that they need to improve or what is the right way, to follow the different procedures or different information. Uh, and then we have summative assessment. The purpose is basically to evaluate the student learning at the end of it could be the course or the unit, to determine if the student, understood the topics that were provide or were um, were provided, for example, in the class. And the
Mhm.
characteristic for that is final high takes and often graded. And the examples are final exams, standardized tests, research paper, end of term projects. So we can use the summative assessment to evaluate most likely at the end of the course, just to make sure if the students learn all the topics that were provided by the teacher. So, and we can use, as I said before, the final exams or final projects so that they can cover all the units that were provided in class. Next
Okay.
one, please. Then we have the difference between norm reference assessment. Well, the main purpose of that is like compare a student performance to two of large groups. The characteristics, well, are rank students, use percentiles, right? Is the right word?
Yes.
Percentiles measures relative performance, and we can use IQ tests or standardized national exams. Basically, is to compare the knowledge between different students or the performance, and it's used for numerous um, classes or large groups. And then we have the criterion reference assessment. Well, the main purpose is like measure a student's performance against a fixed set of criteria or a standard. And some of the are focuses on mastery of a skill, not comparison. So that is totally different for non-reference assessment, not comparison with other. Use at a specific score or pass fail
Mhm.
system. Here we have some example. Teacher driving test. Teacher made exams with set passing score and a state proficiency tests with proficiency tests. Yes. Next, please.
Okay.
And then in the homework, it says that a situation which we can use the test. So as you know, we can use a test in different ways. Here I bring an example like a job interview. So as you know, some of the company, if you want to be part of them, they always give you different tasks to measure your knowledge or to check what is your English level. So they use the test to check if you are good for their company or if you have something to improve. For example, Citel, when you go to the interview, first, you have the interview, and then you have some exams for grammar tests, listening tests. What else? Listening tests. Well, I don't remember the other ones, but they usually give you those tests to check if you are good for the company.
Mhm.
And that's the way that we implement tests in jobs interview. Um, Well, as they say here, the situation in a company wants to hire a customer service representative. Uh, so always ask you to do some tests to measure your knowledge, to check if there is something that you can improve. And the purpose for tests in job interview is basically help the employer to
Mhm.
determine what are the candidates or the best candidate for the company.
Okay, we're good.
Next one, please. And then we have, let me check here. It say explain the difference between objective and subjective assessment. Well, objective assessment has clear right or wrong answer with no personal judgment needed. Example, multiple choice tests, true or false questions. So, and subjective assessment requires more interpretation and judgment, often involving writing or a spoken response. Example, essays, open-ended question, oral presentation. So it means that in object assessment, so um, it says that it has clear right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
So the commons method that they use to have a objective assessment, it says like we can use tests, true or false questions, and multiple choice, so that they most likely use in exams, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then we have a subjective assessment, so that they are totally different because it's more related with essays, with speaking activities, that it say oral presentation, opening and then questions. So it's mean that you need to talk, and the other one you need to just select what are the right or the true or false questions. Next one, please. And then we have direct and indirect testing. So indirect testing assess actual skill in real life situation. An example is a speaking test where a student has a conversation. This is the direct testing. So it's mean that direct testing, you are, it's like, um, oh my God. It's like real life, something that you are seeing and that you are able to evaluate at the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
also another example, it will be role plays.
Mm-hmm.
When you are, for example, at the university and the teacher say, please prepare a role play about this and that.
Yeah.
So the students prepare the role play and you are evaluating in real times because you are seeing what they are, what they prepare for you. And then we have indirect testing, uh, measures related abilities instead of the actual skill. And for example, we have a grammar test to assess writing ability. So indirect testing is it's the not the contrary, but it's not similar with direct testing, because indirect, so it's mean that um they will evaluate you. It could be with grammar test or something that you need to write or prepare a essay or things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good.
Then we have discrete point versus integrative testing. Well, discrete point testing, it say that test one specific language element at a time. Example, vocabulary tests with isolated, isolated, right?
Isolated.
Isolated words meaning. So it's mean that you're you need to evaluate one specific things that you are
Mm-hmm.
focusing in that way. In that example, it say that the teacher was evaluating the vocabulary test. So, for example, if I want to evaluate the reading test or the reading
Mm-hmm.
skills, so I can provide, for example, a novel or an article. So, and I will ask the students to read it for me. So that's the point that I want to evaluate. That is the reading, the pronunciation, how they link the words, and how they connect the words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like straight to the point, the things that you want to evaluate. And then we have the integrative testing, assess multiple language skills together. Example, writing an essay, which tests grammar, vocabulary, and coherence. So the integrative testing is, as the word say, multiple language skill. So it's mean that you want to evaluate different areas. For example, in the exams of the university. So some point of the exams are writing writing tests, and
Mhm.
then you need to listen. Some conversations to find the answer, and then select true or false. So are different points. So you want to
Mhm.
uh, test the different areas, for example, grammar, speaking, writing in one exam. So they give you a different exercise to evaluate the listening, the speaking, and the grammar test.
Before continuing, I got a question.
Mm-hmm,
So, and it's related to the integrative testing. So you said that assess multiple language skills, and you got some examples there, like
mm-hmm.
grammar and vocabulary. Okay, yeah, they are soft skills, right? That belongs to writing or reading. But my question is, if we say that we can use the integrative testing to assess the multiple language skills like speaking, reading, writing, and listening, which kind of test would you use?
Which kind of test?
Yeah, could you describe one of these one? A test where you can integrate the four macro skills that English has.
Let me think about it.
Okay.
So,
Or you can do it at the end of the presentation. Don't worry.
okay, so let's continue. Let me think
Okay.
about it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I think that this is the
Hmm.
last. Yes, this is the
Yeah.
last slide. Yes, this is like a small summary about.
Yes.
So, it will be like exam that or test that include the four skills,
Hmm.
and well, I don't know exactly the name, but to fulfill my expectations, I would like to have an exam that include it could be true or false in the area of
Hmm.
true or false, listening activities. It will be an article, and they need to complete the missing words.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and then the listening. So I can put an audio, and they need to complete the grammar. So I can put some sentences, um, in the wrong way, so they can put it in the right way to check the grammar.
Yeah, you got it to the point, right? So just let me tell you that I want to appreciate your effort for this one because you quite understood the bidder in the document that you found on the session number two. And for finishing, I got another question. So you were explaining about the differences between norm referenced and the criterion reference tests, right?
Yes.
So my question is, when we got the test of English as a foreign language, this is a norm reference or criterion reference, and why?
Mm, Sorry, could you please repeat again
The
your
test,
question?
the test of English as a foreign language, I mean the TOEFL
Mm-hmm.
test. So that is a norm reference test or a criterion reference test.
Mm, well, I think that a criteria, if I'm not mistaken.
Why?
Well, because in this with this exam, so you will like evaluate what is the level of the student. Um, for example, if the student studied for 5 years, or of, well, this kind of test is almost at the end of the course, so they want to know or they wants to evaluate what did you learn during the course. So they will ask you to have this kind of test
Hmm.
just to make
Yeah.
sure and evaluate what is your English level.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Remember that in this kind of test, you have a set of criteria, right?
Yes.
To determine especially his or her level of proficiency.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, I just want to thank you about this presentation. You were quite good, and this will be graded, okay, for
Okay.
10th point in the session, in the right session. And please check the session number 2. You will find the task, okay, for session number 3, read the instructions, and if there is something that you don't understand, just let me know, okay?
Yes, today I checked the platform and I don't understand one point of the homework. It says that I need to like create a YouTube channel if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you have to record yourselves, okay,
Uh-huh.
in a video, then upload the video to your YouTube channel, and
But
you're gonna share the link on the platform, just the link. I will be checking
but
that.
I don't have a YouTube channel.
You didn't have it,
No.
so you can upload the video
Okay,
to the
perfect.
platform, and I will be checking there. Okay.
Okay. Much better.
Okay. Okay, Regina, if you don't got any questions, we're gonna stop here. We're gonna finish here, and thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much. I have classes at 8 as well, so thank you
Yeah, me
for this
too. Me
time.
too. I have another tutoring sessions.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. Bye bye. Take care.